Hello everybody, welcome back. On my previous videos I've shown you how to grow fresh green salads on your windowsills. You still would have needed compost and waited 2 or 3 weeks before you can actually eat your crops. So today I'm going to show you how to do sprouting of seeds, which is something you need no compost for. You can do on your windowsill and you'll be able to eat it within 3 or 4 days. And all you need are some suitable seeds from your store cupboard. These are mung beans. An old glass jar in which to grow them, a piece of netting, but an old cotton hanky or a piece of fabric would do, a rubber band and some water. It's also a nice way to actually see what's happening to those seeds that you've just planted underground. So if I can show you this one, if you try doing the pea shoot salads, that is one of the marrow fat peas. And as you can see, the root is growing downwards. If it was in the soil, it would be growing down into the soil. And from the same point, a little leaf shoot will come if I leave it much longer, which will grow upwards into the sunlight. So how do you do this? The first thing is to start with seeds, beans that are actually suitable for eating. So never do this with seeds that you buy from the garden centre, anything that's intended for growing, because they can sometimes be sprayed with fungicide to prevent them rotting in the ground. So only culinary grade seeds and seeds that are intended to be eaten. Things that are suitable, as I said, alfalfa, but also I have chickpeas here which go very well, and they taste really like fresh peas as well. Edible seeds that won't work is anything that's been split. So if I show these to the camera, these are red lentils and split peas or chana dal. Those will not grow because they've already been split in half and the seed's been damaged. So it has to be a nice round whole seed, like this chickpea. And all you need to do is take your glass jar. Make sure it's been washed really, really well. You want everything to be clean here so you're not growing anything other than your beans. And then pour just a small quantity of the beans into the bottom. That doesn't look very much, I know. But what will happen is we're going to soak these and the beans themselves will get bigger, and then as they shoot they will expand. If you have much more than that, they will actually push out of the top of the jar, which you don't want. All you have to do then, put them in some water. Piece of mesh, I've doubled mine over here, over the top, and a rubber band to secure it. Simple as that. And just put that to the side in your kitchen overnight. I usually do these of an evening, so overnight or throughout the day, it doesn't really matter as long as they get a good soaking of 8 or 9 hours. Once they've soaked, you'll notice that the beans have begun to swell, and at that point, tip it back in here. You can tip all the water out through the mesh, which will hold the seeds in place. Shake and hold the mesh to keep it all, get all the water out, and give them a little shake so that they're sitting on the side of the jar like that, and then put it somewhere safe where it's not going to roll off, and leave them. Now every day you need to come back and you need to repeat the process of filling the jar up with water, give them a bit of a sluice around, and what you're doing there is rinsing off any bacteria or funguses. These are growing in a nice warm wet place in your house, and that's exactly what bacteria and fungi like as well. So you make sure you wash those off, and you need to do that at least once a day, a couple of times a day if you're living in a hot climate, if it's the heights of summer in the UK. And then every day just tip it off again, and shake, and put them back down. And just watch them grow every day. I've got some that I did earlier here. Nice big jar, this one. That'll probably fit quite a lot, but you can see these already, the little white shoots are sticking up, and I've already rinsed those this morning. So that's mung beans. As I said, you can do it with other seeds as well. So this is my chickpeas, and you can see just how much bigger those peas in the jar are compared to this tiny little chickpea that I sowed initially. What's happened is that they've soaked up the water and swelled, and the water stimulated the seeds to germinate. What that does is makes the seed produce lots of nutrients that aren't available to you if you just eat them as the dried chickpea or mung bean. At that point they're mostly protein, but now those are sprouted, they will taste completely different, and they'll be full of delicious nutrients as well. Just a quick recap on safety. 2 things to remember. 1, only use seeds that are intended for culinary purposes, so that's nothing that's been sprayed with any fungicides or other toxic chemicals, and that are intended for eating. And number 2, always remember to rinse your bean sprouts at least once a day to make sure you're not growing anything in the pot other than your bean sprouts. There have been some cases of people being poisoned with E. coli that's grown on bean sprouts. Those have been in industrial plants where they're grown on a huge scale and where the health and safety procedures have not been followed. But if you rinse yours every day, you'll be fine. So what can you do with your bean sprouts once you've grown them? Well, as you've seen, you can eat them just straight out of the jar as a snack. Give them a rinse before you eat them, but you could also use them in stir fries, and I like them in salads. So they're very nice once they're drained, dried a little bit. Just toss them in a little bit of vinegar and oil, maybe put some herbs in, and just experiment with it and have some